in real life, we see a lot of good and bad figures of authority, and we're all definitely going to see both at various times in our life. But for the sake of Star Wars Episode 4, we are going to focus on a bad figure of authority, and that is Darth Vader. Besides the fact that Darth Vader is just a villain and a mean guy, some of his behaviors and characteristics make him a bad figure of authority. So the main thing that makes Darth Vader a bad leader is that he has too much task-oriented behavior. So in this picture here, we can see him choking Captain Antilles once uh, they've boarded the rebel ship. Darth Vader and his stormtroopers embarked on a mission to go and retrieve the stolen Death Star plans. So after he chokes Captain Antilles, he gave specific instructions to his stormtroopers to go search the whole rebel ship for the Death Star plans and to bring any passengers on the ship to him hostage and alive. Now, those are very specific instructions, and giving very detailed and specific instructions is exactly what task-oriented leaders do. They also closely monitor performance. So Darth Vader was monitoring his troopers, searching the ship, and then for any problems that came up, he would deal with the leader of the mission, such as the commanding officer, or he would confront the enemy himself and use his lightsaber to deal with them or force choke them. Now, as a part of Darth Vader's transactional behavior, contingent punishment behavior, he is a bit cruel. So in this photo here, this is from the scene of when all the Imperial officers below Darth Vader were arguing about the Death Star's vulnerability to the Rebel Alliance. And so then Darth Vader stepped in and said, look, you guys are all underestimating the power of the Death Star. And then eventually this guy, Admiral Mahdi, got into an argument with Lord Vader, and he started snarling at him and just back talking and getting a sassy attitude. And so Darth Vader decided to punish him by force choking Admiral Mahdi. And so we can see that Darth Vader will really punish you if you were misbehaving. Now, hopefully, your manager does not choke you whenever you exhibit negative behavior in the workplace. Hopefully, none of you ever get, hopefully, none of you ever display negative behavior in front of your manager or towards your manager either. And here we kind of examine Darth Vader on the contingency perspective. So we can see here the whole contingency perspective. The big idea is that it examines how a leader deals with different situations. And so looking at the contingencies element of it, we can see that Darth Vader does not have good relationships with his officers below him because he's too task oriented, has very little people orientation, and because of all this, his outcomes always end up being failures. And so as we can see from the movie and the contingency perspective, being a leader like Darth Vader does not lead to success. And then here I kind of want to explain the participative leader behavior continuum. So it's fairly obvious from the movie that Darth Vader is way down here on the decide aspect of the continuum, which is one extreme end, and the other extreme end would be the delegate group. However, I think the best solution for Darth Vader to be a more effective leader would be the facilitate group, which is going to be right here. So with facilitate group, Darth Vader would let all the officers work together as a team to come up with solutions to solve a problem, and then they would give their input to Darth Vader, and then Darth Vader would make the final decision, and Darth Vader would just be there as a resource to help guide the officers if necessary in the facilitate group situation. I believe that the facilitate group solution is the most sustainable one. And so some things that we can conclude from this are that Darth Vader is way too task oriented, and he's doesn't have enough, very little of the people oriented behavior and the participative behavior. And so we can see that when you're like Darth Vader, you provide zero moral support to your employees, then they've got low morale, that reduces their productivity, and then every outcome to a project just ends up being a failure. And so hopefully, if you've seen this movie, Star Wars Episode 4, it's a lesson to you to not be a leader like Darth Vader.